All right, let's get right into it. We're jumping into a book by Dr. Ray Strand, a doctor who discovered this incredible link between nutrition and chronic illness, not in some fancy lab, but right in his own home. This is an explainer on his book, and believe me, it all kicks off with a really personal crisis.
Wow. I mean, this quote just hits you, doesn't it? It's so honest. You have to picture it. Dr. Strand was a successful doctor, 30 years in the game, knew his stuff. He could diagnose, he could prescribe, but when his own wife, Liz, got seriously sick, none of it mattered. All that training was useless. He was just a husband, watching the person he loved most just fade away.
And, you know, that feeling of being completely helpless. It sent him on this desperate search. This wasn't some academic exercise for him. This was personal. It was a race to save his wife. And it ended up making him question everything he thought he knew about medicine.
So, what was he up against? Well, Liz was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. We're talking chronic, widespread pain and a level of fatigue that's just crippling. And Dr. Strand, he threw the entire medical playbook at it. Anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxants, allergy shots, you name it, he tried it. But nothing worked. In fact, she just kept getting worse, until a nasty case of pneumonia landed her in bed for pretty much the entire day.
By early 1995, Liz was at rock bottom. The doctors were basically saying, well, maybe she'll recover in a few months, maybe not. So out of pure desperation, Dr. Strand, who was a total skeptic by the way, agreed to let her try some nutritional supplements a friend recommended. I mean, what did they have to lose? And the result? It was just astounding. In just 3 days, Liz said she felt better. 3 months later, she was stronger than she'd been in a decade and was off all her medications.
And this was the million-dollar question that just completely consumed Dr. Strand. He's a man of science, right? This wasn't just a fluke. This was a real, measurable change that completely defied his medical training. He had to know why. So he did what any scientist would do. He dove headfirst into the medical research. And what he found in all that research, well, it completely flipped his understanding of health on its head. He started to see that inside every single one of us, right now, there is a constant silent war being fought on a cellular level.
And this war has a name: oxidative stress. The book explains it with these really simple, perfect analogies. You know how a cut apple turns brown if you leave it out, or how a piece of iron will rust? That's oxidation. Well, a very similar kind of decay, this cellular rusting, is happening inside our bodies. And the book identifies this process as the hidden root cause of more than 70 chronic diseases. We're talking everything from heart disease to arthritis to cancer.
So in this war, who are the players? Well, on one side, you've got the enemy, free radicals. These are basically unstable, destructive molecules that go around stealing parts from healthy cells, which creates this massive chain reaction of damage. But on our side, we have the allies, antioxidants. These are the good guys. They're molecules that can swoop in, give a free radical what it needs to calm down, and basically neutralize the threat before it can do any real harm. Now, our bodies are smart. We have our own built-in antioxidant defenses. But here's the problem. According to the book, our defenses are just completely overwhelmed. Modern life is constantly sending in enemy reinforcements. We're just bombarded by free radicals from pollution, cigarette smoke, processed foods, sunlight, and even just the day-to-day stress of our lives. So that leads to the really critical question, right? If our bodies are designed to handle this, why are we losing this war so badly? The book argues it's a two-part problem. First, our medical system isn't really focused on prevention. And second, our food just isn't giving our bodies the tools they need to fight back.
I want you to just think about this number for a second. It's staggering. The book says that less than 1% of our healthcare dollars go towards true prevention. What we usually call preventative medicine, like mammograms or cholesterol tests, that's really early detection. It's about finding a disease that's already started, not stopping it from ever taking root.
And on top of that, we've got a crisis in our food. The book makes the case that even if you're eating healthy, you're probably not getting what you think you are. Why? Because the nutrients are literally being stripped out every step of the way. It starts with soil that's been overfarmed. Then we grow crops designed for a long shelf life, not for nutrition. Then they're shipped long distances, processed and cooked. And with each step, more and more of the good stuff is just destroyed. I mean, look at asparagus. It's a perfect example. The book points to a study showing that after just 1 week in storage, it can lose 90% of its vitamin C. 90%. That's almost all of it. So we think we're buying something healthy and fresh, but by the time we eat it, its power to help our bodies has been totally wiped out.
So yeah, it sounds a little bleak, right? We're outnumbered and our supply lines are cut.
So how on earth do we start winning? Well, this brings us to the book's big solution, a strategy that Dr. Strand calls cellular nutrition. It's all about proactively rearming our body's cells so they can win this war from the inside out.
And this is the absolute core of it. The book's main argument is that because our food has changed so much and the assault from our environment is so high, diet alone just isn't enough anymore. The book claims we have to bridge that gap with high-quality nutritional supplements. And this isn't about treating a disease. It's about giving our body's own defense system the optimal level of resources it needs to do its job properly.
So the book's strategy for victory is actually a three-part plan. First, the foundation is absolutely a healthy diet, lots of fruits and vegetables. Second, you need a moderate exercise routine. And third, and this is the key piece, is using targeted, high-quality supplements to give your body those optimal levels of antioxidants and minerals that our diets just can't seem to provide anymore.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question to chew on. Dr. Strand's whole journey from a doctor who is totally skeptical and helpless to someone who champions this idea of cellular nutrition, it suggests a huge shift in thinking. It challenges all of us to think beyond just treating symptoms and to start focusing on empowering the absolutely incredible pharmacy that already exists inside every single one of our cells.